Hi, I'm Tom Sextro, Tech Director here in Holton School District in Holton, Kansas, and my Assistant Tech Director, Chris Fletcher, and I are going to try to show you how the inexpensive Wii Whiteboard project applies to Macintosh computers. Okay, either in System Preferences in OS 10, go to the Bluetooth section, or you can get to the same place by going here. The little icon, if you have it showing up there, open Bluetooth Preferences, it takes you to the same place. Click the plus sign. We're going to add a Bluetooth device, which will be your Wii Remote. Click Continue. About now, I would push the buttons 1 and 2 on the front of the remote and click any device. And there you see the Nintendo. Go to Passkey Options and do not use a pass key with this device. And click OK. And continue. And the second, continue. And use the device as a remote control for this computer. That's fine. Continue. And that's basically all you have to do. You hit quit. Now in the list here you'll see that Nintendo controller 1 is set up via Bluetooth. Okay, once you've positioned your Wii remote at a 45-degree angle pointing towards your whiteboard area, push controller buttons 1 and 2 and it'll start flashing all 4 of them, and then start up the Wiimote whiteboard software. If you're successful, it'll say up here battery level 80%, and you should just have one. If you have controller 1 or whatever, it'll only be one light lit on your Wii remote. If you have trouble, it really is a timing thing. You have to push it, the 2 buttons, and you have to launch the Wii whiteboard software fairly quickly. It seems to work better that way. And you might enable mouse, these 3 choices here.
To set up your Wiimote, you need to set it at a 45-degree angle to your board or wall you're projecting to. You need to make sure that while you're using your infrared pen, you do not move your body in between the Wiimote and the pen, as the pen works with infrared, which works only in line of sight. To set up the software, the Wiimote Whiteboard software, you simply click buttons 1 and 2 on the Wiimote, and then start up the Wiimote Whiteboard software. Once you see the battery level of your Wiimote at the top, you're in good shape. A good tool in the software to use is the infrared camera monitor. What this does is allows you to check whether your pen is seen on all parts of the board. So if I put my pen on all parts of the board and it shows up that it's seen, then I think I'm good to go ahead and calibrate. Which up here, for example, yeah, looks like okay. So now we can go ahead and hit calibrate. And now my pen should be calibrated to the board. The Wiimote Whiteboard software does have mouse control, as you've seen. You have the option of whether to move only, to move and click, and also, I believe if you click and hold on an item, it would be the same as right clicking. So, just like you would with the normal mouse. Now that I've got my pen calibrated, there's some free tools out there on the internet. This one's called Pocket Mac Tabula Rasa. Now, I was drawing on here earlier as an example. I have an eraser down here. If I double click that, it erases my board. I can come and select a color and use this just like you would a normal chalkboard.
One of the issues we're having is this is our homemade pen is not as good as the pen that we need to build. Doesn't have an on-off switch, and he has to hold it down a wire kind of to touch the battery to make it work. And so it's just as a prototype, you know you would expect a lot better results when you build the real pen. The nice thing about this software too, if you go up to the menu, is it will let you save it as pictures too, whatever's on your chalkboard. So later on, if you want to save it, you can just go, it's got a little save option. So it really does work.
So there's just one example. And I come over here and I double tap by just tapping my pen twice. Come up and close that. And another thing you might want to do is teach students how to use functions within calculators. You know, 78 times 3 equals 234 minus 5 equals. One thing that's important to note is you can't use this anywhere between the Wiimote and the board. That's why it's important while you're actually doing things that need to be precise close to the board. So for example, if I pull it out, it would pick up a little bit different than what I'm actually in front of. How it's perceived from my line of sight and from the Wiimote's line of sight. So where are we going from here? Well, first of all, we've got to work through some issues. Most importantly is we've got to learn how to build a remote with an infrared sensor that feels like an ink pen. And there are instructions on the web to do that and getting parts from Radio Shack and so forth. The second thing we've got to do is figure out how can we mount a Wii remote in such a way that it's not too inconvenient. For example, what we're thinking is maybe we'll use some Velcro and attach it to the bottom of our mounted projectors and have it to where if a teacher can take it off the remote when they're done with it. I'm always kind of worried that Wii remotes might be pretty popular with kids. So we've got to think through how we can mount it and still be able to make it easy enough to where teachers can use it. Please check out my blog at tomsextro.com. There's a lot of things that we're learning, and if you've got some things you want to share with us, we'd appreciate it.